There we go. Can you hear me? Anybody, please tell me that you can hear me. This is my second live stream. Thank you all for showing up. I guess you can hear me. I've worked on that intro for a long time. Nice. Yeah, the mic was muted for a second. So everybody, thank you very much for showing up. I didn't expect so many to show up again. This is really really nice. Yeah, the chat's going like crazy already. Yeah, I see lots of people I know, and that is really really nice. Lots of patrons and lots of people I see a lot on the comment section of the videos. Yay! Thank you. It works. I'm actually using the open source version of OBS now. That's the program I used last time, and I totally didn't understand it, but it seems to work now. So I got a hang of it. Hi from Poland. Very nice neighbors. Hello. Thank you very much for enjoying my videos. I can depend on you, Azura. Yeah, you're always there. Thank you, Dino. Yeah, I've been working, like I said, I've been working on the intro for a while, and I had a little bit more preparation time for this time than last time with the hopper. It was just a disaster. In the first 15 minutes, nothing worked, but this time it seems to go just fine. Finland. Good evening, Mikko. Very nice. Yeah, 6 a.m. on Sunday. So you're in Australia. I know. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I tried to find a time where everybody could watch. I'm in Germany, so it's 2 minutes past 10 right now, and later wouldn't have been possible because tomorrow we're gonna go to an amusement park with the children. It's my one day off in the week, and as you might know, I'm always really really busy, so that one day is really precious for me. And so I didn't want to start it much later than this, but it's barely good for Australia, and it's pretty good for the United States, where most of my viewers come from. Actually, it's above 40% from the United States. I see, as Arizona, Massachusetts, Netherlands, good evening, very nice. California, yeah, as you can see, lots of people from the United States, and that's, California is what, 2 p.m. right now, I think? 1 p.m., something like that. Hopper time. I've got the hopper time on my desktop, so I always know what time it is where in Boca Chica. That's 3 p.m. right now, so California, 2 p.m., something like that. Illinois, very nice. I did see India's. If you have questions for me, as it's already so many people and so many of you are chatting, if you have questions for me, type at what about it so I can see that orange box in Belgium, Colorado, Wyoming. Very nice. Bayern, very good. From the UJ, what's that? Yeah, 1 p.m. in California, exactly. So that's the time frame is from 1 p.m. basically in the chat right now to 6 in the morning in Australia. So it's about the sweet spot that I could get. Brazil, very nice. Good morning. Or in the afternoon, is it 5? No, it should be 5 in the morning. Seriously? No. Brazil should be around noon, shouldn't it? Yeah, but what about it? You did that before. I'm not gonna do it again. Yep. Three in California. Dortmund, very nice. St. Gallen, Bielefeld. Oh my God, guys. Very nice. Thank you very very much for showing up. So, what I thought about to do this evening is, as always, answer your questions about space if you got any. I did watch the Vikram crash yesterday, which was a pity. Actually, I would have wished for ISRO to just succeed and do it at the first try, basically. But it is hard to do, and there have been many trying to land on the moon, and many have failed before. So it'll be in Monday's episode. Actually, I recorded that today, so I'd have the free time for the stream for tonight. So yeah, maybe I can show you the script later, stuff like that. Because the one thing I want to do tonight, as always, is answer questions about space. But the other thing is, I want to answer questions about the channel. So if you've got any questions on how to do a YouTube channel, what to look out for, or what I've learned in the last 3 months and stuff like that. I've also prepared some numbers to show you some insights on the statistics and stuff like that. And let me read this real quick. 1 second. Okay, what made me... John asks, what made you start this channel? I've always been working in media, basically just as a side job, though. I've been working at a big book publisher. I've been working at big radio stations, Deutsche Welle. The German people will probably know what that is, in Cologne. And in Bonn, I've been working at a radio station, all that kind of stuff. So media is in my family as well. My dad worked at the book publisher, and my mother was an acclaimed author, actually. And so I always wanted to go into media, and I always tried, and it never really worked out. So yeah, one day I decided, why not do a YouTube channel? And then I sat in front of the camera for 3 months, being afraid. And then I recorded my first video. And from there on, I had a steep learning curve, you can say. Definitely. I have... Let me check that real quick. 10,696 subscribers right now. So in the last few days, I already gained another 700, which is really, really fast for my channel. You got to know that on YouTube, it is not only about the quality of your content, because I think that is, without trying to say anything about myself, but I like the episodes myself, so I'm happy with that. But it's all about the algorithm as well, which presents the videos to other people. And the smaller your channel is, the less impressions you get. That's what it's called on YouTube. And that basically means that the algorithm shows your video to people on YouTube. And that gets bigger the bigger the channel grows. And so 700 subscribers in just a few days is really, really nice. Thank you very much, Christoph. Yeah, 100,000 in a month. That would be good. I would love that, but we will see. Okay. Launched Squid is asking, do you really see SpaceX point-to-point transport as viable, given G-forces and risks of suicide burns? Yeah, the point-to-point transport system has a lot of obstacles. Basically, it's noise. It is dangerous. How do you get the FAA, the constant FAA licenses needed for the launches and the recoveries, and then do you really get passengers who are going to fly on that thing? I mean, I would probably, after the first 20, 30 flights are safe. But I don't know how many people actually would be willing to do it. I don't know if Elon really meant it, actually. It is a really nice idea, and if he can manage to pull it off, it could be awesome. But I don't know. There are a lot of obstacles, definitely. Okay. Mildly Okay is asking, what spiked your interest in space in the first place? Sci-fi, Apollo program, etc. Okay, I was a big fan of space from the beginning, basically, as long as I can think back. I've watched Star Wars with my dad when I was 6. I know it's not rated 6, but my dad showed it to me, and I loved it. And I've got a huge telescope. I've always been interested in space, basically. And before I started this YouTube channel, I basically watched the same videos you probably watch as well. Scott Manley, Everyday Astronaut, and here and there a little bit Cloud Liquor and Curious Droid and whatever, you name it. I've watched them all. So yeah, that's my interest in space. It's basically the same that you do too. It's just that I record videos about it. You could probably do it too. It needs a bit of skill, but I think many people could do it. But it takes a lot of time. It's like 60 hours a week. So, how many people, Christoph is asking, how many people are behind the scenes on this channel? It's getting more and more, let's say that. I started out alone. Then my wife pitched in because she saw me suffering doing the episodes alone, basically. And she started doing the so-called A-roll, which is when after I recorded with the camera and the microphone, that's called A-roll, and she's cutting that now. She's my background editor, and then I have a graphics artist Mooney Sky. She does awesome job. She did this. This is the celebration T-shirt, by the way. Let me real quick stand up. She made the Starman. She does the graphic stuff in the background, and then there's lots of people pitching in with news and research and all that kind of stuff on the Discord channel. So it's quite a few people actually already, and it's getting more and more. I'm baffled, and I'm surprised, and I'm really, really happy about it. What happened to Mars 1? Ewan is asking, what happened to Mars 1? Yeah. Mars 1, in my opinion, was a crazy scam. For those who don't know, it was the thing that got really, really big in the news in, I think, 2015, 2016, with thousands of people applying to go on their missions to go to Mars and stay there, basically. They wanted to do that, I think, by 2022, which would be pretty close now. And they said it would cost billions of dollars to do it. And they never got the money. And I think they've been closed since early this year. So they're bankrupt, and that's it, basically. If they had any ideas, I hope they can sell them. Maybe SpaceX can use the ideas, but basically Mars 1 is history. And I think it was from the beginning. I didn't really trust the guys. I don't know. Chris is asking, I have 3 kids of my own. Do you also tell your kids about what is currently happening with this new space development? I do. This is my... Let me go to the other side. This is a picture from my daughter. She wanted to be on the show, but she's already in bed, so she put the picture on the wall. My camera is pretty bad still. It's an old webcam, because my DSLR, which I have here, I can show you. I wanted to show you some insights about the channel. So this is recording equipment I have on my desk here. And this DSLR can be set up with HDMI, but it is not compatible. So the kids... yeah, I show them a lot of stuff whenever they want to see. They see me editing anyway, so they watch the videos I put together, and they're very interested. Yeah, and the interest grows, so I'm really happy about that as well. Oh, wow, we have a super chat. Thank you, Leah. Very, very nice. Much appreciated. I can actually use the money. Very nice. Thank you. Donatello is asking, have you ever heard about Carl Sagan working with NASA on secret space programs? I have not. I know Carl Sagan, and I roughly know what he did in his life. I have his Cosmos collection on my DVD shelf, and but I don't know about any secret projects he did with NASA. No. Maybe you can enlighten me? Sin526. Know anything about nuclear fusion? I did an episode about that. There's interesting developments happening with a kind of reactor called shear flow. Yeah, I've heard about that. It is crazy stuff. And I really, really hope they're going to realize that. They are going to put the idea into reality. Because if you want to travel beyond Mars, I think for Mars it can be done without. But if you want to go further, like Saturn's moons and stuff like that, and even further out, and then eventually leave the solar system, we're going to use something different than rockets. That's not going to work. So the nuclear propulsion would definitely be an option. The nuclear propulsion option episode I did is a very early one, though, so expect not the high quality you see now. I do play Kerbal Space Program, Quantum. I do, but very little, because I'm always editing. I'm also a big fan of Space Engineers. I've played that for, I don't know, 150 hours or so, which is a lot, because I didn't play it for long, but then I started doing the YouTube channel. Now I don't play that much anymore, basically. But I love computer games, definitely, and Kerbal Space... I'm looking forward to Kerbal Space Program 2, very much. I love the trailer. I do a Folded Eagle. I think I do have an accent, unfortunately, but it is very little, because I have family in the United States. I have a sister in Wisconsin and a brother in New York, and I've been visiting them a lot in my life. and I've got lots of friends in the States, on the East Coast mainly, Maryland and the area around it. So I've been talking in English a lot in my life. So that's basically why I do not sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. So how long does it take for you to do and finish a show? Okay, it depends on the length and on the difficulty of the show. On average, I would say 30 hours. And it's 2 episodes a week, so that's 60 hours. It's divided into different parts. First, I record. No, first I write the script. I research and write the script. That's roughly a day. Then on the next day I record, which actually doesn't take that long because I have a written script and I can just perform in front of the camera, so to say. That's roughly 3 hours. Then comes A-roll editing, which is another 10 hours roughly, and then comes the B-roll, which is another 10 hours if it is a complex B-roll. If it's just it depends on the stuff I'm doing in the episode, really. It's from 6 hours to 10 hours, roughly. Please do the what about it tags. I can't read this. Dory says it maybe it still is a secret. Do you refer to the Carl Sagan thing that we had earlier? And yes, Split Second Mom is my wife, by the way. And she's helping out all the time, which is really, really nice. Look up Ram fusion rockets. Yeah, I want to do an episode about different ways of propulsion in space. Though right now, actually, SpaceX is doing so much that I can't do anything else but SpaceX in my episodes. In the Monday episode, I managed to squeeze in Vikram, which I'm really happy about because that was an important thing to happen, even though it crashed. But SpaceX is doing so much right now that it fills up the 10 minutes. I've had comments under my videos of people asking me if I was a SpaceX fanboy. I mean, I love what SpaceX is doing, but I love them all, basically. NASA and ESA and whatever. They all have good ideas and good engineers, but SpaceX is doing so much right now that it really fills up the episodes. It's crazy. Thank you, future billionaire. Thank you very much. Wisconsin, mildly okay, very nice. Yeah, my sister lives in Wisconsin. I've been there many times, and it is really, really nice place. It is a really nice place. Thank you very much, Dorothy. Yeah, I'm practicing. I'm practicing all the time. Yep, I'm from Germany. No, it's not Bavarian. Did my wife already answer? No, she didn't. Okay, Dennis. We're right next to Nürburgring, if that says anything to you. The Green Hell, that really, really famous German racing track. It's about in the middle of Germany. It's in an area called the Eifel. If I look out my window, it's full of hills and trees everywhere. It's a natural resort that I live in, and it's a really beautiful place. We love it here. Mildly okay. Human exploration or robot exploration? Personally, I think humans should be left to colonize robots for exploration. Okay. I partly agree with you, and robot exploration has deemed us well in the past. But if you imagine, there is this on YouTube. You can find a video. I used it in one of my episodes where you can see how far. I think it was Opportunity, I think. You see how far Opportunity traveled in its whole lifespan, basically, in a time lapse. And what you can see there is it traveled only, 40 miles in 10 years or so? So that's ridiculously so. I think it wasn't even 40, it was 4.5 or something. I can't quite remember, but if you send people They'll do the same work a robot would do in 10 years. They do that in a week. And that's the big benefit of sending humans. It takes more effort, but at one point, and that's why I'm so glad that we have SpaceX, we should start sending humans again. It's inspiring. It gets a lot more work done. And it is a good preparation for colonization. So if you want to have a colony, the first step is building infrastructure. And with robots, right now we can't do that really. There are plans for the future for 3D printing robots that work with the soil on Mars and all that kind of stuff. But it's not executable right now. So I think humans, definitely. If we want to have a colony, at one point we'll have to send some humans. Let me scroll a little bit. All right, Dory. Yeah, I don't know about the Carl Sagan thing. Actually, really, I don't know. I've never heard of anything. Mauro, I saw your question even without the tag. How did you come up with the name of the show? In the beginning, I wasn't too sure what I would do. And it crystallized out that it's mostly SpaceX now because they are so busy. What I wanted to do in the beginning was mainly space, but also other technical stuff, like fusion reactors and all that kind of interesting other technical stuff. But then in the end, I focused on space. And why I named the channel What About It is just because I asked the question. The mission of every episode, if you want to call it that, is to get the perspective, not to just present some Twitter news and talk about an article that was written somewhere. It's actually trying to get the people into the topic, to explain something that you haven't known yet and that you couldn't know from the Twitter or the article or whatever. And so I asked that question, what about it? And that's where the name comes from. Map Metiti Aposto. I hope I butchered that the right way. I do know about Aerospike engines. I don't know much about it though. I know the general concept, but not much more. I'm getting behind here. I either have to answer quick, or I don't know. Let me catch up with you guys. How do you donate on the stream? You just click that little dollar button on the bottom right next to the smiley symbol, and then you can send a super chat, and you can pick whatever amount of money you want to send, and it is much appreciated if you do so, but you do not have to. This is just for fun. It's the 10K celebration. Oh, let me do something real quick. I have something to give you. Let me click the right button here. Nope, that's the wrong one. That's my channel. There we go. There we go. All right, I have a merchandise shop. If the moderators could just please put the link in the chat real quick, because I haven't thought about putting that on screen, but that doesn't matter. If you want any of my merch, it is reduced if you use that code. It is valid until Wednesday, and that's my little present for everybody showing up. You do not have to buy anything, and I don't want you to buy anything, but if you do want to, and these shirts are really nice quality, I was actually very surprised when I unpacked it today. It came today. If you want anything, use that code, and you'll have 10% off. There you go. Now we got that out of the way. I would have forgotten it anyway. All right. The tether question, effect. They could. The problem is, though, that if you... there's something called Coriolis. I think it's in English, Coriolis effect. I don't know the English word, actually, not out of my head. But it is. If you have these two spaceships spinning, you will have more G-force on your feet than on your head. And if that difference is too much, you will puke. It will be terrible. You will not enjoy the trip. And I think a Starship is too small to do that. You would have to have a huge tether or a bigger ship. So I don't know if that's feasible. But actually, I think 0G is not that big of a problem on a 3 to 6 month trip. And I had an episode about that. The bigger problem is the G forces on the planet Mars, which you will have to endure much longer. So they'll have to find a solution for that, but that's going to be really, really hard to do. Might even not be a solution for it if we don't invent anti-gravity or whatever Star Trek stuff. So I don't think that the zero G thing in space is that difficult for the body to cope with. Yep, Warhawk, exactly. The Apollo 16 rover drove 16.8 miles, but in what time? 1 day, 2 days? And that's the point. A robot takes a lot longer for that. Do a show on what? Mars or bust? Do a show on if we should use the mothership concept rather than one craft to get all the way to Mars. Good idea, actually. Like I said, I want to do an episode about different propulsions, and that could maybe be integrated. There are a lot of different concepts on how to reach Mars, like NASA's concept with the interplanetary shuttle that they've proposed. But we'll see how far they get with the Artemis program, basically. It's a difficult thing if you have politics mixed in. Not to say that they are doing a bad job, but it is a difficult thing to do. Rocket Lab. Stinger, I love Rocket Lab. I think it is a brilliant idea. It is a really, really nice concept for the small satellite business, and I would love to go visit them. I've covered their last launch, Look Ma No Hands, and it's an awesome concept. It really is, and I hope they're going to succeed with their reusability plans. For those of you who do not know, they want to catch boosters coming down from orbit with a helicopter, which is amazing. It's a really nice idea, and I think they can do it. It's not that hard, even if it sounds crazy. I think it is doable. So yeah, Rocket Lab is awesome, definitely. I just started reading Ben Bova's Mars. I do not know that, no. I don't have any time for reading anyway right now, it's a pity. Yeah. I know, yeah, Christian, I know Tim Dodd is working on an episode and it's going to be awesome. I heard that he's already on 30 minutes episode length, and that's definitely going to be cool. I'm pretty sure it's going to be cool. What about ESA? Yeah, they are getting behind. Everybody's getting behind right now. And I want to say this really, really clear. I'm not a SpaceX fanboy, but it is really hard to right now not love what they're doing. Everybody's getting behind on rockets, at least. The science part is something completely different, as SpaceX is not doing any science missions. Not even the colony missions will be science missions. The sole purpose of the whole thing is to get buildings on Mars and to get people cooking, basically. Literally. But the rocket business is where everybody's behind right now. ESA has Ariane 6 and Ariane Next planned. Ariane 6, I think, for 2022, and it's not going to be reusable. It's just going to be a little cheaper than Ariane 5. And Ariane Next, there's not that much known about it, as I recall. I actually don't know exactly, though. But still, they have to go into reusability. I've made an episode about that as well. I've made a lot of episodes by now, where I touch the subject also on ESA's site, but there's nothing more than design studies, basically. The only people that actually have something flying right now that is going into the direction of Falcon 9 is the Chinese, and I admire them for that. I know it looks like stealing, but if you have a really, really good idea, it has to be copied. I mean, Carl Benz one day invented the car, and if nobody would have copied it, we'd all be driving a Benz, which wouldn't be a good thing because you wouldn't have a market and no competition and nothing. So let them try to copy it, and if they manage to do it, even the better, because it's going to create competition, and I know Elon Musk loves competition, so that's all good, and I think he's more capable. He's more than capable of taking the competition as well. And I'm really far behind on questions here. I'm sorry. Yeah, thoughts on India's moon landing failure? Callum Stratton has asked that. It is, like I said earlier, it is really, really difficult to land something on the moon, and many, many nations have seen that recently. Israel has crashed a lander into the surface, and they didn't want to. They Chinese actually again, 2013, 2019, they managed to land on the far side, but other than that, is really difficult. And I admire the task that Israel did, and it's a pity that they failed. And I hope they're going to try again. Learn from the mistake and try again. Basically, it's you can make mistakes. You just got to learn from it. So, go ahead, Israel. Try it again. It's a good thing. Coriolis force, according to Wikipedia. Exactly, Dory. Thank you. Yep. And that's a big problem if you tether two ships together and it's not sufficient. Yeah, the centripetal force is is what pulls them apart, but the Coriolis force is what is the difference between the head and feet, isn't it? I'm not too sure though. I'm not a physicist. Let me check something real quick. Oh, my wife was busy copying questions for me, and I totally didn't notice. Let me see this real quick. Gonna now I'm wait a second. Let me do it this way. Artificial gravity on Starship 2.0. Okay. That is something. I'm not too sure if Elon really meant 18 meters diameter and double the size though, double the height though. You would have to build that in space basically. I don't think that you could lift it off the ground, or not, at least not with the Raptor engine. So we'll have to find out what he meant. I hope he's going to mention it on the 28th in his presentation. That would be awesome, definitely. Martian colonist. Oh my god. Good evening, Martian colonists. How are you? That is very nice that you showed up. I'm really happy about that. You've been one of my earliest motivations, by the way. You watched episode 2 or something, and you told me that I've done really, really well, and I enjoyed it. That you told me. I ran around with a smile the whole day. So thank you very much for that. I definitely would be interested in a collaboration. Hit me up. Wait, I'm really behind on the chat. Guys, go slow. gmail.com. There you go. I'm going to post my email address. Please hook me up. Really, I would definitely be interested, at least in talking and in a collaboration as well. Definitely. Thank you. I'm behind questions. René Wollersheim. That is a German name. If you would do a fan meeting in the Eifel, where would you do it? And will it cost something? Okay, I've been thinking about fan meetings actually, and I think we'd have at least enough people in Europe, and Germany is kind of in the center of Europe, so that would definitely be a good location. I wouldn't do it in the Eifel though. If so, I would do it in a bigger city, because there are better locations to do it. Or maybe at Effelsberg, which is a really nice radio observatory close by. Could do it there. But I was thinking about Cologne, yeah. I have far too little time though right now. There are so many things I want to do, but I have very little time. Another space nut, the helicopter catch thing, yeah. It has been done before, and so I think that Rocket Lab can do it, definitely. What about that gel in the moon? I actually heard about it, but I hadn't had the time to read about it, so I couldn't tell you anything about the gel in the moon. I just read I just opened up the internet and I saw a title, Gel on the Moon, but I didn't dig in it yet. I will though, and maybe I'll put it in an episode if it's good for an episode, but I don't know anything about the gel on the moon yet. So there we go. Let me scroll again here. There we go. China's launch from a barge. Is China planning to launch from a barge? I don't know. Right now they're testing in the desert in China. It would be logical to launch from a barge. I don't know. SpaceX hasn't done it yet, but they said they would do with Starship. So we'll see. I don't know. Thoughts on Breakthrough Starshot? Yes. Yes. I want them to do it. I want them to succeed. It is a crazy thing to do, and they've got the money to back it up. Um, just do it. Basically, it's doable, and it would be the first pictures of extraterrestrial worlds, and so they should definitely do it. They should definitely do it. It's the same thing as Breakthrough Listen, which I'm a really big fan of as well. I mentioned that in an episode. It's just the funding that's always missing, and if these projects get proper funding, which these two projects do have, go for it. These are really really nice ideas. Um, don't worry, Mildly. That's all good. Okay, I've got two more super chats. Thank you very much. Varistin, what are your thoughts on Tesla? Do you own one? Would you ever put? I would. Model 3, I'm eyeing one, but I don't have enough money yet. Um, Model S was at the Nürburgring today. They wanted to break the time of the Porsche Taycan, the new EV from Porsche, that set a time of 7 minutes 40 or something, and that is a really good lap time on the Nürburgring. And Tesla wanted to beat that time today, but it was raining, so they hopefully are going to do it. Try to do it again. I'm a big fan of Tesla, and I'm a big fan of EVs, and I think they're the future. Internal combustion engines have brought us so far, but they put out CO2, which we can't afford to do anymore. So EVs, definitely. And Tesla is the best EVs on the market right now. Pop Bomb, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Yeah, Starship 2.0. I had that in an episode. I had a detailed analysis actually on an episode, so go watch that. I'm all for it, but it is really hard to do if you do it on Earth. If you build it in space, it's something different. But on Earth, that's basically the limit of what's possible. So I don't know. Maybe he meant build it in orbit, which would make sense. And you could use Starship 1 to build something like that in orbit, and that would be the much better idea in my opinion. These really, really big rockets built on Earth, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. Bum, bum, bum. All right, I think I've answered all your questions. Okay, let's take a small. Oh no, there we go again. More questions. Let's take a small break. I've prepared some numbers for you, just to give you some insight into how much you watched my episodes and how much has happened in the past 3 months. So let me just real quick put that in, and then I'll answer questions again because you're like shooting these questions right now. Thank you very much for coming. Okay. Let me push that button and I hope it does the right thing. There we go. Okay. These are channel statistics. That's something that is done very little by YouTubers because they think it's a big secret and you shouldn't tell. But I actually honestly don't have a problem with it. So I prepared this for you. This is the last 3 months in numbers. We've had 795,759. Yeah, it's a strange number, but that's what it was when I wrote it down. Views in 3 months. We've had 4.8 million minutes of views. That's 80,000 hours or more than 9 years of watch time. This is... I still can't grasp my head around it. It is really, really nice. We have had 32,969 likes and 5,828 comments. And probably half of them were from me, as you might know that I'm really active on the comment section, because I love chatting with you guys, and that's why I'm gonna do many more of these live streams, by the way, because I just love doing it, love communicating with you. That's, as a YouTuber, it's kind of strange. You have 10,000 subscribers and you know like 50 of them, which is sad in my opinion. That's why I'm taking all the time to chat with you and do comments and whatever. And one more, I've produced 337 minutes of What About It in 3 months, which is awesome in my opinion as well. That's like 2 feature films or even more, I think. So yeah, might get a view of how busy this has kept me in the last 3 months, and that's just because all of you are watching all that kind of stuff. All right, let's get back to the. I think it was. Let me find the right button here. I'm not really... There we go. No, that's the wrong one. That's the one without the discount code, and I want you to have the discount code. There we go. Okay. More questions. Yeah, there are, Dory, there are no real studies about it, but it is definitely there. There are centrifugal tests with astronauts, and you can measure it basically everywhere. The problem is just that your body is telling your brain different things, and that really makes you feel awful, and that's the big problem about it. Another space nut. 101 Raptor engines would cremate Kennedy Space Center. If you're referring to Starship 2.0, it actually would have to have more. I did some calculations and I came up with 196 or something like that. So yeah, even 101 would be far too much. It is, like I said, that big of a starship on Earth. I don't know if that does make sense. We'll see. Lab Padre went live with something interesting. What did he go live with? Let me just check. Lab Padre. I could show that if it's really nice. Oh, that's piling work, you mean? Or what do you mean? 845k views. Yay! I know, it is crazy. It's going up like crazy. I've picked the numbers yesterday, I think, and it's crazy. It all depends on the algorithm, of course, but it seems like my audience really likes the videos, and it really motivates me a lot. I love every nice comment I get, and many of them make me smile, and those that don't, I just ignore mostly, or put a funny comment back or something like that. So yeah, it's a wonderland happening for me. I actually, my initial calculations, I did some numbers in my head before I uploaded my first video, was that I would get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Now it's 3 months and I'm doing the 10K live stream. I love it. It's crazy. As for making a YouTube, what is a must in your opinion for starting out? Okay, equipment knowledge. Okay, equipment is not important. This camera that I record every episode with right now is a $250 Canon 2000D. Cheapest thing that I could find. It is a DSLR because you need a DSLR to do proper video quality, because that is a webcam, and a webcam won't work for an episode. It works for a quick live stream, but that's $250. And then you need a cheap lavalier microphone. That is this thing. This isn't a cheap one because I already upgraded because of my awesome patrons, but in the beginning I started with one that is $20, so you're at $270. The most important thing is lighting. You need good lights. I've got some really big lights here and here with diffusers. Actually, you can see one of the lights in this picture. It's a circle light that is normally for something else, but it works perfectly, and I've used it in close-up shots already. So you need lighting, you need the camera, you need the mic, and you need a lot of... Just do it. That's what you need the most. Don't be scared. Start doing it and show your first episode, and from there on you will improve. Look at my first episode, and then 3 months later. If you really want to do it, it is possible, definitely. And I encourage everybody to do it because this is awesome. It's everybody asking me these questions, and I love that you all came very much. Thank you. ESA SpaceX incident, I would as well. Okay, I did it, I covered it in the last episode, actually. Do you watch my episodes? I think it was a publicity stunt by ASA. I wouldn't say that in one of my episodes because I don't want to put politics on What About It episodes. So I always avoid doing any judgment on anyone. But I honestly think it was a publicity stunt by ASA. The problem was that there was a possible collision. 50,000 to 1 was the chance. ASA contacted SpaceX, and SpaceX said 50,000 to 1 is not enough. We're not going to do anything. A day or two later, ASA sent emails towards SpaceX and telling them that the chances got higher. SpaceX never replied because they apparently had a bug in their software. They couldn't receive the emails, which in my opinion is crazy that they're relying on emails, but that's another thing. And then it all went down with them putting it all on Twitter and doing a big fuss about it. I don't know. Course corrections on satellites for collision avoidance is a normal thing to do. They all do it constantly, and why they put it so big in the news, I don't know. I think it's a publicity stunt, to be honest. Not to be rude with ASA or anything, but that's how I think about it. It wasn't a big thing, actually. Callum, I don't know about that. Actually, I don't earn that much money with the channel yet, which is fine. It's all good, but I think people think that you earn much more money with YouTube than you do. A Tim Dodd or a Scott Manley earns a lot of money, but they're far ahead. So the Model 3 is a bit out, but I will buy it if I can. That is for sure. Right now I'm driving the BMW, and every time I step into my car, I think, damn, it would be nice if this was an EV. So I'll buy one as soon as I can. Yeah, that's actually Icy Lime. I thought about that too. What if we would not even with Starship 2.0, but only with Starship 1, it would be awesome as well. Just imagine a Starship with 3 super heavies under it. That would be an awesome thing. But I think it's not gonna happen because I don't know, super heavy is very powerful, and I don't think that you will need more boost than that, but maybe fully fueled Starship in orbit could be. I don't know. It would be awesome, definitely. Doug, yeah, thank you very much. We've got each other on Facebook, don't we? I think I remember you from Facebook. I envy you for living so close to what's happening there. I can just look at the Lab Padre stream where they're drilling in the ground still. Which actually is really interesting. I don't know what they're doing it for yet. I think it could be the jig for. I could actually put this in the lower corner for you, just in the lower corner though, because I talked to Lab Padre and he doesn't want people to see it in full screen, which I can understand actually. Kleiner Bildschirm. There we go. That's the drilling work in Boca Chica right now. I envy everybody who's living close by. It is awesome. It's I would love to go there and witness it myself. It is just awesome how SpaceX does this in the open. The stats also send an email? What do you mean? I'm sorry. I'm really, really busy reading here. And we've got another super chat. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for the Model 3 fund. That's much appreciated. Thank you very, very much. Yep. Let me just look into what my... Okay, my wife just told me 5 minutes ago that you want to see the picture, my daughter's picture. All right, this is actually really funny because she drew herself as a little robot girl, which I think is really, really sweet. This is her picture. As you can see, it got heart ears. Here, these are hearts, and it's a little robot. And I just love it. It is beautiful. She also drew a starship, which I was supposed to put into my next Starship live stream, which I will actually do, I think. And she wrote her name. I think she did it by herself because it is slightly wrong. up here. She's 5, by the way, and so she's done a really, really good job drawing robot girls. Very, very nice. I'll put it back here. There we go. And she's a huge fan of the channel, by the way. Right, let me put up the chat again. Chris, thank you very, very much. Much appreciated. And I will keep up the work. I will. I'm constantly at it. Like I said, I recorded the Monday episode today. Oh, that's another thing I could show you. Let me just look if there are more questions, and then I will show you something. Satellites couldn't send an email either. Yeah, there was something wrong with that too. Yep. She's a young Picasso. Exactly. I love every time she paints a picture for me. I love it every time. I hope so too, Christoph. I hope so too. But like I said, it is slow on YouTube. Is because the algorithm just gives you that many impressions, no matter how good your content is. It limits you, and then it puts you on the next step, and then on the next step, and it gives you more people that can see your videos. Actually, when you go on YouTube and you look at the front page, Veritasium said that really, really nice. You see the tip of the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg of the videos being created and uploaded every day to YouTube by countless creators. It's just the algorithm sorting these out and presenting to you what it thinks you should see at that moment. And that's the whole thing, getting into that algorithm. I think I could have millions of views on my stuff if everybody would see it. It's just that nobody, or very little people, see it because the channel is small. But that's going to go bigger, I hope. And then one day, maybe I'll get the Model 3 and I'll show you on a live stream. Thank you for dropping by. It's much appreciated. All right, I've got something I want to show you, and that is something nobody really has seen yet, other than my wife, I think. Remember to remind people to like. Everybody push the like button, because that could possibly put us on the trending tab and put millions of people in here. I don't know if I want millions of people, because I won't be able to read the chat anymore. But like the stream, it'll help to get it public. See you later. Nice to have you here. All right. There's one thing I want to show you. I hope my system's not gonna crash while I start this. I could have done this before, but I forgot. But I want to show you my editing process, and I will show you on episode 31, because that's already done. So let me load that up real quick. There we go. Okay, I'll put that on the second monitor. Put that over here. You'll see it come in over there. Let me just pull it here. There we go. Okay, this is Adobe Premiere Pro, and that's where I do my editing. That is where I spend at least 20 hours of work, or 15 hours of work each episode. What you can see here is me here, obviously. Let me make this a bit bigger for you. There we go. That's even better. Okay. So what you can see here is an episode finished. Down here, you can see all the bits and pieces that I've put together to make the episode happen. This is 12 different tracks, by the way. And down here, you can see the music. And this here, this barcode looking thing is the A-roll. That is my recording that I do with the camera. So if I hope this is not going to produce an audio feedback. Let's just see if this works. Or actually I can just scrub over it. As you can see, then I start moving. That is the intro where I say the news. Then comes the intro video, and then comes A-roll into it. This is, for example, the Felix, your host, and all that kind of stuff. And this continues all over the episode with millions of cuts and things and tidbits that I edit and cut over again and cut a bit more. So basically, that's the whole episode. And then over here, you have the bloopers that many people like. And these are unseen bloopers, basically. That's the stuff that's left over. So you can see I do a lot of stuff that is not good on the recording. And then I find some funny bits and put them here, basically. That's the little bleep that you can hear between the bloopers and all that kind of stuff. So that's how I create an episode. Over here, you can see all the different video sources I've used on that episode, all pictures and all that kind of stuff, and animations and all that kind of stuff. Up here is just a preview video, and here you can see the Starman, for example, is this little guy here. Is further up, I think. Yeah, there we go. That's the watermark. This thing is the watermark that is up here that you always see in the corner, that you even see on the live stream. And this guy here is the Starman animation, and it just, as you can see here, see that it changes its eyes because of the two different elements. So that's that, and that's basically the whole thing that takes so much time, because recording and scripting is what I love doing, and this sometimes drives me mad because I've never been an editor before, and it was a lot of learning until the episodes looked like that. All right, let me just real quick see if I can. Wrong button. There we go. Okay, let me see if I got more questions. Sony Vegas is not better than Adobe. I've used Sony Vegas actually more. There are some ancient videos on my channel from Lord of the Rings. I've played Lord of the Rings online like 10 years ago. I actually got to know my wife on Lord of the Rings online, and I made a trailer about the game, and I did that with Sony Vegas. So I know it enough to say that Adobe is just far out. What you can do with it is insane, because all the different Adobe programs are connected together. If I record something in Adobe Audition, I can just click once and it'll transfer it to Premiere Pro, where I can continue editing it. And all the programs are connected like that. And that helps it helps immensely, and it has a lot of different things you can do. All the programs fit together. It's After Effects for animations. It is Photoshop for picture editing. It is Premiere Pro for video and audio editing. It's so immense what you can do with the Adobe Creative Cloud. There are other programs that you can use, but I'm a big fan of the Creative Cloud. It works flawlessly, and it gives you a lot of different options. Yeah, Christoph, exactly. That's the if you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. And that's also why I've got a lot of comments on my videos from people complaining that my thumbnails would be too clickbaity. The problem, though, is if the thumbnail is the door opener, basically, on YouTube. If the thumbnail, which people look at for 2 seconds or so, is not attractive enough, people will just look for the next thumbnail. And everybody works like that. Or at least most people do. So the thumbnail has to be somehow attractive. And after that, the content is important. Because if you clicked on the thumbnail and you didn't like the content, that is a bad thing. It seems like I don't have a problem with the content. I don't have the thumbnails figured out yet, though. So we'll see. But it's a pity. I agree with you that YouTube is working like that with the algorithm. It is a pity, but it is how it is, and it was worse before. Actually, it was before they started doing this as they're doing it right now. Before, only subscribers counted. So the bigger you were, the more views you'd get. That meant, though, that the bigger channels grew faster and faster, and the smaller channels didn't have any chance to grow. So it is better now, but it is not perfect. But apparently YouTube is working on it. I get emails from them like every 2 weeks or something, where they say what they're doing in the background and how to change the algorithm to make it better and stuff like that. And they are apparently working on it. So we'll see. Yeah, you're very, very welcome. And that's a good example for the algorithm doing the right thing. So they have improved already, and I'm confident that they will improve further in the future, basically. So we'll see where the whole thing goes, basically. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you very, very much. I should read the book Ignition. I have not read the book Ignition on rocket fuel. I'm actually right now, for the past 4 months or so, have been reading this book. I just have very, very little time, so I'm not finished yet. So we'll see. I seriously don't have that much. I even have an ebook reader down here, but I just have very, very little time nowadays to read. That's the biggest problem with books right now. Leon, I think I am not a celebrity, and I don't really care about becoming a celebrity, to be honest. That is a good thing about YouTube, is especially when you have this very, very specific audience that I have, it is very, very unlikely that you will one day wander around in the streets and somebody will be like, "Hey, aren't you Felix from What About It?" Actually, Joe Scott, if anybody of you knows him, Answered with Joe, very nice channel. He once he has a second channel called TMI where he just vlogs a bit about his life and thoughts he has. And once he said that it happened twice in his life that somebody approached him outside of cons like VidCon and something like that, where you have people that could know you. Outside of that, like at a gas station or a supermarket, he had it twice that people actually recognized him. And he's got like, what, 500,000, 600,000 subscribers now. So that's a very, very rare thing, I think. I would love to go to space. Yes. I wouldn't want to go to Mars because I've got 3 children, and our trip to Mars is 22 months at least, I think, or something like that. So that would be a no-go for me. I wouldn't want to leave my family alone for so long. But if like Elon would approach me and ask me if I want to do a trip to the moon with a Starship, I would do that, definitely. Yeah. Nice. It is really, really nice to have you all around. It is just awesome. All right. What else could I show you? I could show you a script. Actually, the script for the latest episode. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. I'll have to scroll that really fast so you don't know the whole episode. But it's gonna be very, very interesting stuff. Actually, I don't know if you've heard about it yet. There has been a recent. FAA has published a document about SpaceX's plans in Boca Chica. And they had to evaluate it to greenlight the whole project, basically. And to be able to evaluate it, SpaceX had to provide them with a very detailed plan. And I'm going to analyze that plan in Monday's episode, and it is definitely worth your while because it is very interesting what they are saying in there that we didn't know yet. So it's going to be very exciting. And Vikram, which I was able to put in the end of the episode. Okay, let me real quick push that magic button again. Camera small. There we go. This is Monday's episode. You will notice that there's a little bit German in there. I couldn't get it all out because I'm German, but most of it is in English. And yeah, you get the preview, guys. You're the first to see this besides my wife, basically. And this is scripting work. That's the first thing I do when I start the idea for an episode. I come up with a title, what I want to write about. That's this thing. And then I start researching on it. And if I find out that there's enough content on it, basically, I'll put it in the episode. Sometimes I come up with a really, really great idea, and then I find out there's just no official content on it, and I scrap it out again. But this time it's basically just that one topic. That's the what did they call it? The written re-evaluation of the 2014 final environmental impact statement for the SpaceX Texas launch site. That is seriously the title of the document, and that is super interesting. And I'll scroll through real quick. Please don't take any pictures and publish them anywhere because this is an exclusive preview of Monday's episode, and I don't want many people to see this, but I'll show you. And that's why I call the channel What About It, because I asked this question. I just think that it is a really nice question to ask to give some context. What's the interesting part about it? You now know that the document has been released, but what's the interesting thing about it? And that's how I start many of my questions in my episodes. And then you can see here these blue writings that I have here. That Einblenden is a German word which means fade in. I just couldn't get rid of it because I'm too German, I guess. But this is the intro video. I show the intro video, and then I start talking. As you know, my standard sentence in the beginning: "My name is Felix," and blah blah blah. And then it goes into the topics. That's these bold writings here. And then comes the next blend in, and so on, and so on, and so on. And it goes over pages and pages, and it's 2,100 words for this script. And then I have pictures that I'll show here. I'll show the maps that have been in the document. And what you don't see in this script is all the work on the B-roll, basically, is what you don't see in this script, because I won't just blend in this map. No, I'll animate it and show you different spots on the map while I talk, and fade in and fade out, and all that kind of stuff you of course don't see in this, because I don't need that. That comes when I add it. And so that's the whole script. That's the whole thing, basically, until the end. And Doug will be very, very happy about this one, but I don't want to show him, actually. I hope he didn't take a screen. So that's the script. That's the script for Monday, and I've recorded it today, like I said, to be able to do the live stream with you. And let's see if we've got some more questions. Let me put there we go. Do you think in the next 50 years, Christoph is asking, do you think in the next 50 years we will have tourist trips to orbit for a few days? Yes, I think so. Actually, I think Starship will be able to put you in orbit for under 10,000. The problem is the habitat. And that's where the money will go, basically, because it depends on how many habitats we will have in orbit. Hotels, basically. If we have a lot of hotels, we will have a lot of competition, and a lot of competition drives down the price. If there's just one or two habitats in orbit that tourists could visit, the price per day will be a lot. But the trip actually will go down significantly with Starship. It won't be that expensive anymore to go into orbit, because it's just a methane tank, and if it really is what Musk says, it will be fully reusable with a little refurbishment needed, and you just refill it. Otherwise, he wouldn't suggest it even as a transport system point to point on Earth, if that wasn't possible. And he already said that how much the ticket price would be. I think, wasn't it like $1,000 or something to go from one city to another, and then triple that to orbit, basically. Maybe quadruple it to orbit. It's not going to be that much more. So yeah, it depends on the hotels, basically. But yeah, I hope so. It would be awesome. I'd be very careful with that script, lol. Yeah, no, I don't really care. If somebody wants to copy me, you've seen it, and I gave you a preview, and I wanted to. If somebody wants to copy me on the Monday's episode, they're free to do so, actually. I will notice and I will smile. Actually, I know a few channels who actually already copy me. They're smaller, and I congratulate them on it, actually. Learn from other people. That's what I did. You always try to get your ideas together from somewhere. And so if they want to copy ideas, go ahead. That's okay. And it's just the Monday's episode. And I've got it recorded, and I want to see you put out that episode on Monday. That would be really quick. So, yeah, I'm happy sharing it with you. Actually, if for those that aren't a patron yet, I don't want to collect patrons tonight, but it's $1 a month, and we share a lot of that stuff on the Discord. I post a lot of that stuff on the Patreon page, and all that kind of. So you're getting involved if you're a patron. So I can suggest becoming a patron if you have that $1 a month. It helps the channel. It's not that much, and it involves you a lot into the channel, which is a good thing. I need people research for me. Do you think, Callum says, do you think that SpaceX is better off building their own launch site or upgrade? I think they are better off building their own launch site. It's just because it gives you freedom. It's not that hard to do, actually. And it gives you a lot of freedom to do whatever you want because it's your property. And I think SpaceX is going to go far with Starship if it really takes off and if the plan comes to completion, it's going to be an awesome thing. And I think it would be good for them to have their own launch site. Yes, nothing against KSC, but it's always good to have your own property and to dictate what you're doing there. So yeah, it would be. And my moderators are busy posting the store link. Only if you really want to buy something, though. Seriously, you've got the discount code because I want to give you that present. And if you find anything, it's like 4 or 5 designs. We've got more in the pipeline, but right now it's just not that much. If you find anything, the quality is really fine. I love actually, I really loved it. I unpacked, let me get rid of that thing real quick. When I unpacked the shirt, I found out that this cloth is really soft and almost silky like. So it's got a nice shoulder cut, as you can see here. It's a good t-shirt, and it's got the logo in the back of the channel, as you can see over there. So, and it's over 9,000, as you can see here. That cable's under the seat. I don't think that they are going to do that, Stitchem. Not in the beginning, because it is really difficult to get a license if you fly over land. Because if something happens to the rocket, it'll crash into Texas or into any state in between Florida and Texas. And so it's going to be hard to get that license. And you could change the orbit, but that would be a huge difference in orbit. If you go into orbit and then you change the latitude of the orbit to be able to land over sea in Boca Chica would be insanely hard to do. So that's not going to be an option either. And I think they're not going to do that, no. Yep, and Warhawk was actually the first to buy on the store. Thank you very much for that, and I hope you're gonna like your mug. You gotta tell me how it is. I haven't seen the mug yet. I'm gonna order a hoodie next to see how that is because winter is coming, and I want to see the quality. I want to sell stuff that I'm actually happy with selling. But like I said, the t-shirts so far impressed me. I did. Keith, I've been very busy in the last few months, and I've done an episode about Bigelow Aerospace, and it was an earlier one actually, so the quality isn't that good. But I did an episode, not a full episode, but I mentioned them, and I mentioned what they've done so far and what they can do with it, and I actually mentioned them twice on my episode about dangers in space. I had the Bigelow habitat as well because the Kevlar skin that it's made of is really durable against micrometeorites, and it's actually the safest place on the ISS right now. So it's often awesome stuff they're doing. I heard rumors though that money is running out for them, which would be a very bad thing because Bigelow they bought the idea, yes, from NASA, but they brought it to completion basically, and they did a wonderful job, and I hope Bigelow can continue what they're doing because that is going to be ideal for big space stations, habitats, all that kind of stuff. You can even attach them to a Starship on the way to Mars to have more storage space, even pressurized storage space. So Bigelow is doing an awesome job, and I hope they'll succeed with it. Yeah, and Bigelow would be definitely a good thing for hotels because it's cheap to get up there because it is small. If it's not inflated, it is very small. It doesn't take up that much space in the fairing, and it would be an ideal solution for hotels, definitely. So yeah, send up some Bigelow space balloons, and I'd sleep in it. Definitely would. Like do some orbits and then come down again. I'd be the first to do it. Yeah. I mean, after I've asked my wife, of course. I will do an episode about Blue Origin as soon as Blue Origin has done anything else but the Shepherd. The problem is, it would be really hard to do an episode about SpaceX if they only had the Grasshopper. You could fill half an episode with it, and that's the problem. Blue Origin has big plans. The BE4, the New Glenn, and all that kind of stuff, but it's still very rough plans and nothing really there besides that little hopper, basically. So let them do their stuff, and as soon as they've got enough real hard things, not speculations, I will definitely do a full episode about them. Yes, and I hope they succeed, definitely. Ultimate TH, I haven't, which is a pity. Next year, I plan to go to KSC and watch my first Falcon 9 take off, and I'm already excited about it. And I envy all those people living on the Space Coast or near Vandenberg or whatever. It must be awesome to see that on a regular basis, and I can't imagine. I've seen countless videos, even those real sound videos that are on YouTube, but it's not like being there. So I'm very much looking forward to next summer, and I'll definitely do an episode about my visit to Kennedy Space Center, of course. I will film a lot, and then probably edit it on my laptop while on vacation, or upload it later. I'll see about that, but I'll definitely do an episode about it. Definitely. Not a live coverage of the launch, though. I don't want to have any cell phone in front of my eyes or anything the first time I watch it. I'll put a camera down, and that's basically it, and I'll watch it with my eyes. That's something I've heard everybody who has watched a rocket launch before tell me, that I should not stand there with my smartphone filming the thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch it, and I'm really looking forward. Yeah, fins are going to be installed very soon. They're already laying around. I've showed you in the last episode that they are going to look a little bit different, but they are until the 28th, basically. He said that it's going to be finished on the 28th, so we'll see. Yeah, get together at Kennedy Space Center would be awesome. Yeah, definitely. Vandenberg launch. Was there fog? Dennis, did you see it? Did you see it without fog? That would be the question at Vandenberg. I hope so, Callum. I hope so that they are going to do a live stream at the Starship of the Starship conference. And if so, I'm going to live stream as well. I'm going to do like an hour or two pre-live stream, and then hopefully watch it with you together. So I'm just going to mute myself. Put myself like maybe in the little corner of the very, very tiny on the side, so you can see some reactions from me or something like that. And then sometimes if there's nothing happening, I might say some sentences or something like that. But I'd love to watch it with you. Yes, definitely. So if they're doing a live stream, I'll live stream it as well. Varistin, another super chat. Thank you very, very much. Oh my God! It's 160 people watching right now. I can't see the counter, and there's a reason why I can't see the counter, because I don't want to see the counter. Because last time I had like 1,400 people watching me, and I was like, oh my God! So I chose this time to not see the counter. So please don't tell me how many people are watching. But thank you very, very much for the super chat. That is much appreciated. It helps a lot. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, and it is very nice that the chat is not going so quickly. In the beginning, it was racing like crazy, and now it's calmed down a little bit, which gives me actually the opportunity to read what you're typing. The Starship they're undecided yet. They will have some transpirational cooling, maybe. That means the outer skin of the Starship leaks methane, and that basically transports the heat away from the skin. It first of all shields the skin because the heat hits the methane, and then the methane evaporates away from the ship, and that transports away the heat. That's the first thing they want to do. I don't know if they are going to do it though, because Elon already said that the plans that he's going to unveil on the 28th differ quite a bit from what we've seen last year. So we'll see. Who knows? And the second thing they are testing right now, actually on the Starhopper, they had quite a few spots actually. In the beginning, I only knew one spot that I told you of that was on the side, heat tiles. Like on the shuttle, different material, I think, and a different method, definitely, because he doesn't want to replace the heat tiles after every re-entry. But yeah, heat tiles. And they had them on the hopper, they had them on the side, they had them on the legs, and they had them on the near the engine, I think. So they've had different spots where they could check different temperatures and adhesive testing if they stick to it and stuff like that. And we'll see what kind of data they could uncover with those tests. And that's all tests to prepare on what Starship is going to use to protect itself from re-entry heat. So it's going to be exciting, definitely. I probably won't do a Kerbal Space Program video in the future because I am really, really busy doing episodes. It is really, like I said, it is at least 45 and mostly more like 50 to 60 hours a week for me right now with the 2 episodes and all the stuff in the background, basically setting up a merchandise store, doing content for the patrons, and answering comments and preparing new stuff like the live chat, and actually figuring out the technology needed for the live chat and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to do this all in a very short amount of time. Because I'm crazy, so I don't have that much time. So I'm definitely not gonna stream any Kerbal Space Program stuff. Tim Dodd does a very, very nice job with that. Actually, on his Vikram stream yesterday, he tried to land a Vikram on the moon, and the first attempt didn't succeed, and maybe that was a bad omen. But I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm just way too busy. Dennis is asking, is there any news about that test tile? No, there isn't any news. Exactly. On the Dragon, they had the same tiles, the same Starship test tiles. They were squared, not hexagonal, but it was probably the same material. And there's no news yet. But what you could see in the picture, there is a picture, Google it, from after the re-entry. You can see the normal heat tiles that Dragon is using on every re-entry, and you can see the heat tiles, the Starship special testing heat tiles. And in my opinion, they looked much better than those that SpaceX is using on a regular basis. So that could be an indicator that SpaceX actually has found a way to make a heat tile that does not have to be replaced every time, because then you will come into some sort of space shuttle situation where you have to replace 1 million heat tiles every time, and it is very work intensive and costs a lot of money, and that's what Elon wants to work around. So yeah, that's what you can take off from that. That's what I thought. I haven't had that in an episode yet because too much stuff that SpaceX does, but yeah, so that's a good thing to see. Somebody asked before, Jumaro, if I will do a fan meetup in Germany. I would love to, definitely. I've had the idea before. I've talked about it with my wife, and she would be up for it too. So she would definitely attend as well. Maybe that would be really nice. And yes, I would be. I would probably pick Germany or Netherlands or Belgium or something as the location, because that is in Central Europe. It wouldn't make any sense to do it in Spain or in the UK or in Italy, because that is, if the most people are able to attend, you have to do it in the middle of Europe. So that would be the countries. And yes, I want to do that, definitely. Stay tuned. I don't know when, but I'll do it, definitely. Because I love interacting with the people. That's why I write so many comments. When do I sleep? Yeah, Dory, I don't know. That's a good question. Sometimes not that much, actually, because the kids get up 6 in the morning, and sometimes I edit until like, I don't know, 10 or even later in the evening, and that is very little sleep. But it's getting better. I mean, all these different construction sites that I'm on right now, the improving the episodes, getting the merchandise store, trying to organize live streams and all that kind of stuff is hopefully soon just going to be something that I know how to do, and then it is a lot less work. I recently did this Patreon video. It's a time lapse of me editing an episode, and in there I told my patrons the same thing. Episode 1 was a lot less editing work, but it took me a week to do it. And the last episode, 31, was a huge amount more editing, and it took me 3 days. So I'm hopeful that it will continue to get less and less work, actually, hopefully. Keith, do you think Elon will develop his own EVA Mars suit? Yes, I'm definitely sure. Current suits are very expensive. He will need suits he will. That's the reason why he's going to do it. That's what he always does. He's trying to lower costs because he will have to finance that colony, or parts of it at least, and so he will want it to be cheap, and so I'm definitely sure that he's going to try to make EVA suits on Mars, maybe even with a docking port in the back so you don't get dust into the station and stuff like that. The suits right now are not suited, pun intended, for Mars, so we'll have to come up with a different suit anyway, and I'm pretty sure Elon is at least going to try to pitch in ideas, if not make his own suit. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but it would make sense. I hope so, Jevis. I hope so. That Starship will go into orbit this year. I can't really wrap my head around how he's going to do it, because right now it is just parts in a scrapyard, if you look at it. But he's doing a brilliant job, and it could be. Let's see how far he gets until the 28th. If there really is a Starship with fins and 3 engines under it and everything, like he said at the presentation, yes. If there isn't, and if it's just all a dummy, no. That would be how I would put it right now, basically, I think. When is Demo 2 happening? We don't know yet. There is a preliminary date in November, I think, but that's definitely not going to be kept. So it'll slip into 2020. That is my guess right now. But it will happen. If it slips into 2020, it'll be early 2020. Like January, February, March, something like that. They've recently tested the booster, 1058, I think. They had a static fire, good static fire. So everything's set, but it's still about the capsule. They have to build the capsule. I don't know if they're finished with the capsule yet, because they lost one in that incident in April, I think. And so they have to make another one, and they still have the in-flight abort test, I think. So we'll see. It's a tough timeline, and he's working on, like me a little bit, working on all sorts of different construction sites right now. So don't blame him if it's not this year. Thank you very much, Farouk. I take the 1,000,000 subscribers. Thank you. Thank you very much, Adam. That's much appreciated. They haven't revealed any data, Ultimate. They haven't revealed any data about that, and they probably won't either, because it's internal test data. I bet they've got a lot of data they're still analyzing, but they won't publicly reveal any of that, I think, because that's internals. They'll use it as intended for Starship, and I hope they're making good progress with it, but they won't release any test data. I'm pretty sure they won't. Maybe Elon will tweet a little bit, but not official things. I couldn't think so. Big Belgium. Yeah, I don't know yet. I really don't know yet. So we'll see. But there will definitely be a meetup. I want to do one. Like at a nice bar or something. An 18 plus thing probably, because at bars you drink beer. But something nice. I would definitely want to do that. Yes. Thank you, Miko. If you're still there, thank you for attending. And it was nice to have you. I would do a video about Crew Dragon versus Boeing Starliner, and it is a very interesting topic. Just to compare the two, what they can do, how much it costs, and how long they've been in development, and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I would love to do that. Just right now, SpaceX is keeping us all so busy with their stuff in Boca Chica and Coco that is really hard for me to, before I did actually do episodes on a single topic. But now that they're in full throttle mode in Boca Chica and Coco, it is really hard for me to do that, because otherwise I would miss important news every week. Basically, it's crazy how fast they are right now. Yeah, Stinger, thank you very, very much. What do you think is better, an automated spaceship yard orbiting Earth or a shipyard on the moon itself? Both has its benefits, I'd say. The automated shipyard, especially in orbit around Earth, is closer, because the moon is close, but it is not that close. It takes a bit of time to travel. Then you have no you only, when you're already in orbit, you can just stay in orbit. You can slingshot around Earth. If you have to go up from Earth, it is the same amount of power needed to go to Earth orbit and to moon. But the benefit of having a shipyard on the moon would be that you can actually put down facilities. You can't really do that in orbit. You could theoretically manufacture parts in orbit, but we're far away from that yet. I think even further away than a moon base. So the benefit would be you could have factories and resources on the moon that you can use to build a ship. You wouldn't have that in orbit because you'd have to bring everything up from Earth, and that takes a lot of power. So both have their benefits, I'd say. Keith, will Elon be able to reuse the Dragon 2 for crew missions, or have to fly? I think it is a new capsule every time, but it's a NASA thing. I'm not sure though, actually, to be honest. It could be reused. Definitely, the cargo, the recent cargo Dragon was the third visit to the ISS, so it could be reused. I don't know though. I think I don't know. Actually, honestly, I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. The Jumaro, yes, the Discord is patron exclusive. If it's $1 a month, so it's not that much, and there's a lot going on in there, so it's worth it. But it is patron exclusive. Yes. Yes, I am German. I will just speak in English in here, though, as every time somebody writes a comment to me in German on the videos, I reply in English as well, because I want everybody to understand it. So I won't start talking German here. But yes, I am German. I've been my whole life. I've got family all over the planet, though. France, the United States, Italy, all of us. I've got a very multicultural family, basically. A Warhawk, no, the Discord is definitely patron exclusive. You didn't know that. That is nice. A staff and patron exclusive, I gotta say, because the staff doesn't have to be a patron, of course. But other than that, it is Discord. It is patron exclusive. Yes. Do you have any dates for Starliner? And Starliner launch is going to be on the 17th of November, I think, and they're going to keep the date. So yeah. It will be first. The trophy will probably go to the Starliner. Yeah, it's just that anomaly in April that prevented SpaceX from having that trophy. But they're planning to do it in November. Yes, I think it's 17th. Yeah, definitely. The visual stuff is hard to do. It takes the most time, but I love it the most as well. Yes, definitely. Let me just check something real quick. Warhawk, I don't know if you're watching the live stream, but the Discord is patron exclusive. It's the La Padre Discord isn't, which you can always join, and I would suggest you joining it if you're not in there yet. It is a really, really nice Discord, but it is not the What About It Discord is definitely patron exclusive, no matter what Warhawk says right now. I think he didn't know that, but he is a patron, so um, I've heard that many times now. Danda, I don't know. Is it? That would be funny actually, because I'm not. How do you say that in English? See, there you go, live. I don't have a problem with my German accent, but it would be funny if it was less on the live streams than on the episode actually. Um, yeah, radiation protection. I've done an episode about that as well, but to wrap it up in a nutshell, so to say, radiation is not that big of a problem in space. I know many people say so, but it really, really isn't. The Van Allen belt is just you just have to have a good course, so you can maneuver around it basically and avoid 99% of the radiation in the Van Allen belt. And after that, it would be solar eruptions. And for that, you can predict them and you can spot them. So you'll be able to tell the people on the starship that in a few minutes there will be a solar eruption. And that's not a problem. So you'll have to have a shelter for that. And Elon had that in his presentation, but he's also tweeted recently that he thinks that radiation won't be a problem. So I don't know if there is going to be a shelter on the ship. It'll have radiation protection in because of its hull, and then water would be a good thing, or high density polymers are in this people talk about that as well, and all that kind of stuff. But there's no hard facts yet, so we'll have to wait until the 28th. And I personally think that radiation is not a big problem in on a trip to Mars, at least. If you go further and if it takes longer, it does become a problem. But it is actually not that much radiation on that short of a trip. If you smoke, it's much worse, and you actually have more radiation from smoking than you would have in space. So every airline pilot takes up more radiation than an astronaut on the ISS. He's there for 3 months, and the airline pilot flies for his whole life, and in the end he has much more radiation in his body, or had to endure a lot more radiation than the astronaut on the ISS. So it's not that bad, actually. It really isn't. uh, what do you mean? I probably would buy the T-shirt signed by me. uh, I could sign T-shirts. Actually, I thought about signing T-shirts, but that would mean that I'd have to have them at home first. And Teespring is the partner, and I would have to buy the shirts in advance. And I don't know if I'm gonna do that. There are other YouTubers who have stock of their merchandise and they ship it themselves, but I wouldn't have the time for that. So yeah, this shirt could be signed, definitely. Poached eggs and coffee. Enjoy your breakfast. And I'm gonna stop the live stream pretty soon, because it's becoming midnight over here, and actually planned was an hour, but you're keeping me busy and I'm enjoying this, so I made it a bit longer. Will you be doing a live stream of launches? Yes, I will be doing live streams of launches as much as I can possibly, because I'm really enjoying these live streams. The first one was oh my god, am I going to be able to do this? But apparently I am able to do it. So I'm definitely going to do live coverage of launches. I was thinking about doing the presentation, and after that in October hopefully in October there's going to be a Starlink launch, and I could cover that. Yeah, that would be nice to do. I'm probably only going to cover SpaceX launches, because besides Rocket Labs, to be honest, all the other launches are not fun to cover, in my opinion, because especially ULA has very, very bad cameras on them, and then for the rest of the flight they just show a computer animation and don't want to talk about over computer animation. So SpaceX it will be probably because it's just the most fun to do. I've answered that question many times, Farouk. I don't want to go to Mars. I've got 3 kids and a wife, and I love them very much, and I love this planet very much. So I'm not up for the task. I envy the people who are going to go, and I envy them. I don't envy them for the work they're going to do, but I envy them for being the first and for trying something nobody has tried before. But I wouldn't want to be the one to do that. Definitely. So that was a question about, okay, AA Max. Will Starship and Super Heavy possibly get any funding if they can prove that the project is promising? NASA has already talked about it more and more actually recently, that they are maybe going to use them for the moon landing if they are quick enough and reliable enough. So that would mean a lot of funding, definitely. For Mars is just... nobody than SpaceX is talking about colonizing Mars. So I don't know if maybe, I don't know. Probably, in my opinion, SpaceX will have to pitch in a lot of money at first. And then if people see that is actually doable and that there's like 50 workers building pads on Mars right now for the next wave of starships, probably companies will become interested. But in the beginning, it'll be SpaceX's funds, mostly. That's why they're building Starlink. To get funds for the project. I have the BA210. I know the BA300. I think isn't that the really big one, or was it the 2100? I don't know. I've seen a lot of Bigelow modules. I don't recall, because they have these BA names. I don't recall which one that in particular is though. No, it is Mr. Dave. Let me introduce you to Mr. Zuse. Oh, hey, fell down. Mr. Zuse, Konrad Zuse. That's the first guy to build an electronic computer, and it's an original autograph. The guy signed the picture. Can you imagine? And hey, fell down. That's another thing from my kids. It's from Moana, and my kids say I'm hey. Isn't that nice? Which shirt? This one? If you couldn't find it on the find it on the shop, blame my wife, because she was supposed to put it online. But I think she did. And if she actually really didn't, it's going to be up tomorrow or something like that. I don't know. Actually, it should be there. And it's only going to be there for, I think, a week or so, because it's the 10K special. So it's not going to be on permanently. But the Starman will be on permanently, of course, I think, at least. We have quite a few designs planned, so we'll rotate them probably or something like that, because too many designs is, in my opinion, confusing. But we'll see. It's all still very new. My wife won't let me go to Mars. Well, it's not exactly like that. We've talked about it, actually, but it's the biggest problem would be the kids. I would never want to leave my kids behind, and I wouldn't want to take them to Mars. Definitely not. They're far too young to die. Thank you very much to Warhawk and my wife, by the way. You're managing this far better than I do, actually. Yeah, Israel feeds are very bad, and ULA. Did you see the last I was actually looking forward to that Delta 4 medium launch, the last one in history, and blah blah, and then even the separation cam was so bad that you could barely see the separation, and I wonder why they do such a bad job with that kind of stuff, and why SpaceX is able to do such a much better job. And I don't know actually why they're not doing it. Its presentation is an important thing, obviously, because it creates a fan base, as you can see with you being here talking about SpaceX with me. And I think all the other launch providers would benefit a great deal from it, but they're just not doing it. I don't know why. I would love them to do better presentations of the launches, definitely. Yay! We got a new patron. Thank you very much. Dude, you're active tonight. Super chats, patron, thank you very much. That is much appreciated. Oh yeah, that would be Alex. That a video about small site customer momentous. First of all, I don't know anything about that particular customer. But that would be researchable. Space tugs are coming. What is it? Is it satellite cleanup, or I haven't heard of it, to be honest. I would like to do about an episode about small set business in general, though, not just about SpaceX. That would include Rocket Lab and a few projects that the Slingshot project, I think, is called, which is really, really interesting. And the whole small set business is basically its own ecosystem, and it's mostly not covered. So I would like to do an episode about that. Yes. What about the stream quality? That's not the stream quality, actually. That's the camera. That is my next patron goal, by the way. If you bring me up to 70 patrons, I will buy a better DSLR. The problem is that I am filming the live stream with a 10-year-old webcam because my DSLR is not capable of doing a clean HDMI output, and it does not want to cooperate with my Camlink that I already bought. I just didn't know, and I found out later that the DSLR doesn't work with the Camlink, and so the Camlink is sitting around, and I can't shoot the live streams with the DSLR, and that's why the quality is that bad. It's the camera, not my internet connection. But hopefully soon I'll get a new DSLR, and that's gonna do the trick for the live streams. But if I do a live stream about a rocket launch, you will see me like this. And that is very small, and then the quality doesn't really matter. But hopefully soon I'll get a new camera. There we go. Antares launch, a Cygnus module. Yes, that would be, Callum, that would be very, very interesting as well. Like I said, I'm planning to do many, many live streams, but I'll have to handpick them because I don't have that much time. And even a live stream takes some sort of preparation because I don't want to talk about nothing. I don't want to fill the time with blah, blah. So I want to know what I'm talking about, and that takes time to research at least a bit. So I won't be covering every launch, but I will handpick launches that I cover, and I'll make sure that it's not only SpaceX, even though SpaceX does a wonderful job presenting the launches. It's not only going to be SpaceX. I can promise you that, because I wouldn't want that either. Where is the little Starman? Yeah, the Starman is an animation. The Starman is here. Let me show you. There we go. There's Starman. He's sitting right there in the editing program, and this is Starman. If I take that away, Starman goes away. If I put it there again, Starman is back. So the whole thing basically is an animation, of course. And I would love to have a Starman doll to put there for the live streams, but right now I don't. So that's how it is. That's how it is. Poor little Starman is on vacation right now. There we go. Wait, is something missing? Nope, that's not the wrong. That's not the right one. There we go. Direct me to the very. There's the 9K, sweetie. There we go. I thought it was there. Yeah, let my wife direct you to the shirt. And it's dirt cheap with a 10% discount code. So it is basically the shirt. I earn like $1 each shirt or something like that. So it's just for the coffee for the coffee money. Basically, I did that on purpose. So buy. It's until Wednesday, and it's my present to you guys for reaching the 10K. It's awesome. Thank you very, very much. She is my wife. Yes. I am not a commercial pilot. I am an ultralight pilot. I do powered paragliding. I've flown airplanes as well, but I don't really like it that much. A powered paraglider is a paraglider with a propeller on the back. I'm flying a trike, a so-called trike that has 3 wheels, and it doesn't have the propeller as a backpack because I don't like carrying 45 kilograms on my back. So I chose the trike. And it is just awesome flying with nothing around you. So I prefer that to an airplane. I would be allowed to fly an airplane, but I don't want to do it. It's touching the clouds basically, or licking them like somebody else named himself. But I haven't licked them yet. There's a video about me powered paragliding. It's a strange word in English. In German, it's called Motorschirm, and in English, it's powered paragliding. And there's a video on my channel. You gotta dig because it's one of the first videos in there, but you can see me fly there. Jumaro, thank you very much for becoming a patron. That's awesome, and I hope you're going to have huge amounts of fun on the Discord. It is always fun to be there. Lots of nice people. And thank you for the like. And thank you for thanking me for the 10,000 subscribers. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up now because it's 10 to midnight, and I've been streaming for 2 hours where I wanted to do only 1 hour. Yeah, I know he changed his name, and I think it was a good idea because Cloud Liquor was kind of a really strange name, but Kevin saw that himself, and that's a good thing. And Space Eccentric actually is a pretty original name. I like it. So like I said, I'm going to stop streaming now. I'm going to leave the stream on so you can chat for a little bit more, because I personally hate it when I'm watching a live stream and it cuts off and you're kicked out of the chat. So I'm going to leave the chat on and you can chat for a little longer, for maybe 15, 20 minutes or something if you like. But I'm going to go to bed now because tomorrow we're going to go to the amusement park with the whole family. So thank you very much for showing up, for subscribing to the channel, for super chatting me, for becoming patrons and all that kind of stuff. And dig into the t-shirts with a 10K discount that is going to make it as cheap as possible with that discount code. So and they're nice quality shirts. I can actually recommend them. They're really, really good. And that's it. Thank you very, very much. And see you soon on Monday on episode 32, which is amazing. Bye-bye. And I gotta find the right button. See you later.
Everywhere you go.